Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Friday. Lots of Stanley Cup playoff news to discuss and lots of general hockey news to discuss as well. So make sure that you stay tuned into this episode to the end. As always, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching the podcast on YouTube. Make sure that you're following the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So we want to make sure that you are staying up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast so you can get the latest hockey news that comes out. And this is the podcast for it. So make sure to follow me on all your podcast streaming platforms if you are not already. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the NHL news for today. So we're going to start things off by recapping Game 5 between the Hurricanes and Capitals. And Andrei Svechnikov, he had the game-winning goal as the Hurricanes win 3-1 over the Capitals in Game 5 Thursday. He scored the game-winning goal with 1:59 remaining in the third period. And the Carolina Hurricanes win this series 4-1, and they advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2023. And fun fact, Carolina is now 10-5 in potential series clinching games in 7 playoff appearances under head coach Rod Brind'Amour. And also, they will face the winner of the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs series in the Eastern Conference Finals, which that Game 6 is today at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And Andrei Svechnikov, he kind of scored from the exact same spot as Brock McGinn did in the 2019 first round series when the Hurricanes were facing the Capitals in Game 7. Kind of scored from that exact same spot where Brock McGinn had the overtime game-winning goal to send the Hurricanes off to the second round. I'm forgetting who they faced in the second round that year in 2019. But kind of scored from the exact same spot. And Jordan Staal and Seth Jarvis also scored for Carolina. Jordan Staal opened the score in 9 minutes and 38 seconds into the first period for his first goal of the playoffs. Seth Jarvis' goal ended up being an empty netter to seal the deal. He also had an assist on Andrei Svechnikov's game winner. And Freddie Anderson made 18 saves in the win. And for the Washington Capitals, Anthony Beauvillier had the long goal in the first period. He scored the game-time goal with 6 minutes and 19 seconds left to go. In the first period, he capitalized on a puck that careened off the end boards to the crease and scored on the backhand past Freddie Anderson. He actually went 5-hole on Freddie Anderson. So just a little soft backhand, pushed it 5-hole past Freddie Anderson to tie the game up at 1. And Logan Thompson made 18 saves in the loss for the Capitals. And Washington, they had a goal that ended up not counting in the second period because it was due to offside. Matt Roy had the potential breaking tie game-winning goal, whatever you want to call it. And they seemed to go up 2-1 in the second period, but because the Hurricanes challenged the play for offside, it ended up not counting. And I'm pretty sure as you looked at the replay, this game did air on TNT. They did show a replay of the goal, and you can already tell at first that it was going to be offside. So even if Rod Brind'Amour did not challenge it, the referees kind of maybe would have talked it over if Rod Brind'Amour did not challenge it and see if the player was being called offside. But it was a good thing he did challenge it because that was totally offside for the Washington Capitals. If you did look at the replay, because TNT did show the replay of the goal. But for the Washington Capitals, their season comes to an end, and what a season it was for the Washington Capitals. They finished first in the Metro and at the top of the Eastern Conference with a 51-22-9 record with 111 points. And for Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8, his historic season comes to an end. And what a season has been for Ovi. He broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record in April against the Islanders last month. And I remember where I was when he broke the record. I was obviously at home. I was eating tacos, watching the game, and I saw that he broke the record, and I was just really excited to see, and really excited to see that he broke the record. And I was just in shock. I made this face. I made that face. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching a podcast on YouTube, I made that face when Ovi broke the goal record. Like, just couldn't believe it. A record that we thought would never be broken. And Ovi somehow, some way breaks the record. But hey, he is a goal scoring machine. All he does is score. And he's 3 goals away from 900, which obviously he's going to hit next season. And we don't know what will be next for Alex Ovechkin. He only has 1 more year left on his contract. And it's he still finds a way to break this goal record. I mean, he did miss 16 games due to a leg injury. He missed 16 games due to a leg injury, and we didn't know if he could still break the record. I mean, there was some fans didn't know if this was going to be the year that Ovi breaks the record. But I'm so glad that this was the year that he broke the record, because obviously you're already in the playoff spot. We didn't want to wait until next season to see him break the record, so it was great that he broke it this year despite the 16 games that he's missed due to that leg injury that he had against Utah Hockey Club, which is now Utah Mammoth. And he had the most goals ever by a 39-year-old or older. He scored 44 goals this season, and he finished 3rd in the league in goals this season as well. So it's just been an awesome year for Alex Ovechkin. And I would have loved to see him cap off that year with winning his 2nd Stanley Cup. And there was a lot of people that picked Washington to win the Stanley Cup this year, and I didn't choose Washington. As you guys know, I did pick the Oilers at the start of the season to win the Stanley Cup. And then, like I said before on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, you've been listening, that I started having second doubts about myself. Like, I started doubting myself, picking the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. But again, it's still working out well. They are in the conference finals, and they will play the winner of the Stars and Jets. But yeah, there was a lot of people that picked Washington to win the Stanley Cup and to win it all. But obviously fell up short to the Hurricanes. But we'll just have to see what's next in the cards for Alex Ovechkin heading into next season. My guess is that after next season, he will probably most likely retire. I don't think he's going to play for another 2-3 seasons after that. I mean, he could. I mean, we saw Gordie Howe play until he was like, I don't even know, mostly because he was before my time. But I'm guessing he played until he was 50 or so. Like, he was still playing in the NHL. I do remember this about Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe's last season in the NHL, which was in 1980, which was also the debut of Wayne Gretzky. That's kind of how I know. He played his last season in the NHL at the All-Star game. And that was also Wayne Gretzky's first season. That part I do know. I don't know what age he was when he last played his NHL season. Mostly, like I said, because he was before my time. So that part I don't know that well. But he could still continue playing hockey even after retiring from the NHL. I mean, look at Jaromir Jagr. I mean, I think he's still playing hockey. I don't think he's hung up the skates yet. Pavel Datsyuk, I'm not sure if he's still playing. But yeah, he could continue on a different route if he decides to retire from the NHL and, could still play hockey. We'll just have to see how that goes heading into next season. But like I said, my guess is that he's not going to be playing in the NHL after the 2025-26 season. I think he's going to hang up the skates. Probably might do beer league or, play in some other hockey league like the KHL maybe. But we'll just have to see. All right, moving on to Game 5 of the Winnipeg Jets and Dallas Stars, and Connor Hellebuyck. He makes 22 saves in the Jets 4-0 shutout win over the Dallas Stars. This is his 5th career playoff shutout, and he extends his home playoff shutout streak to 143 minutes and 22 seconds. Of course, kind of held Buck shut out the Stars in Game 2, which is the second time the Jets had shut out the Stars in this series. And the Jets, they stay alive with the shutout win, and they remain perfect on home ice despite, losing Game 1 on home ice against the Dallas Stars. They are 6-1 on home ice throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs overall, and this series heads back to Dallas with the Dallas Stars leading the series 3-2. You gotta wonder, will the Jets choke this one on the road, because they have not won a road game yet throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, and overall I think they lost 8-9 road games dating back to Game 1 of the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Vegas Golden Knights. But for this game, Nikolai Ehlers, he had 2 goals in this game. He had a power play goal and an empty netter. Mike Scheifele, he had a goal and an assist for a 2-point night. Vladislav Nemestikov had a power play goal in this game. And Winnipeg, they scored twice on the power play in this game. Like I said, the goal coming from Nikolai Ehlers and Vladislav Nemestikov. And the power play has struggled in this series. They were 1 for 18 in this series on the power play going into Game 5. And they found a way to break that power play goalless drought with 2 power play goals in this game to push the Jets to a 4-0 shutout win and force a Game 6 back in Dallas. And Jake Ottinger, he made 31 saves for the Stars in the loss. One thing that stuck out to me in this game, besides, the Jets 4-0 shutout win and the power play goals that helped them win this game, was the third period altercation between Jamie Benn and Mark Scheifele. With 6 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the third period, and the Jets were, I think at the time, leading 3-0, there was tensions boiling over doing a line change between Dallas Stars captain Jamie Benn and Winnipeg Jets forward Mark Scheifele. Jamie Benn delivered a forceful punch to Mark Scheifele, which ignited or started this chaos, if you want to call it. And the altercation escalated when Brandon Tanev grabbed Jamie Benn, leading to all 3 players, Jamie Benn, Mark Scheifele, and Brandon Tanev, receiving roughing penalties. And Jamie Benn and Brandon Tanev were also given 10-minute game misconducts. And the scene, or I guess the altercation, got more heated when Jamie Benn struck Mark Scheifele with a right hand, knocking him down to the ice. Well, he hit him in the face and, knocked him down to the ice. And Mark Scheifele was incensed. He was irate about that, and so he wanted payback on Jamie Benn. So he tried to go after Jamie Benn, and the linesman was there to break it up, preventing him, because he was heated after that. You should watch the replay, and they did show this on NHL Network. I don't know if it's on ESPN. It could be on ESPN. The clip itself could be on ESPN, or Sportsnet might have posted it somewhere. You could probably find this on Twitter or YouTube. After Jamie Benn knocked down Mark Scheifele, hit him in the face with the right hand. Even though that was my left hand I was using in this video, but still, even after Jamie Benn knocked down Mark Scheifele with a right hand, he wanted payback. He wanted to go after Jamie Benn, but the linesman was there to break it up. And Jets coach Scott O'Neill said this about the statement. He said this, and I quote, "I wasn't real happy with how that came out. We were the ones that are up in the game. Didn't think we should have come out of that power with having the extra minor." And Stars head coach Pete DeBoer also had this to say about the fight. He said, "It's an emotional series. You play this time of year against one team, there gets to be a little bit of hate out there, and that's okay." Anyway, Game 6 is Saturday, tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will air on ABC and ESPN Plus for you guys to watch. So we'll see if the Jets continue to struggle on the road throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, or do they somehow win on the road and force a Game 7 back in Winnipeg on Monday. We're moving on to some other NHL news. So my Chicago Blackhawks had announced a Hall of Fame festivities in honor of the individuals who helped contribute to the team's legacy for the Centennial season. There will be a fan voting thing from now to mid-July for fans to vote for one player from the Heritage era and one from the Modern era. It is only one vote only. It is no unlimited votes, just like the NHL's 40th century team was unlimited votes. This one, particularly for the Chicago Blackhawks, is only one vote. And I will have an article about this on Blackhawk Up. I think it should be out by the time I get done posting this episode, so you guys can check it out there. And I'll also put the link in the description as well, so you guys can go there and read the article yourselves. And the ballot is divided into two categories, again being the modern era and the heritage era. Players in the modern era are Tony Amont, Brian Campbell, Corey Crawford, Eric Days, Nicholas Jarmuson, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Patrick Sharp, Andrew Shaw, Steve Sullivan, and Jocelyn Thieleboy. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right. And the players from the Heritage era are Ed Belfour, Doug Bentley, Johnny Gosling, Dirk Graham, Dennis Hall, Cliff Carroll, Steve Lamar, Chico Maki, Moose March, Pitt Martin, Bill Masienko, and Troy Murray, Eric Nestorenko, Jeremy Roenick, and Doug Wilson. Those are the players from the Heritage era, and then the ones I said before that are the players from the Modern era. And fans can vote for one candidate in each category, and these fan votes are combined with votes from the panel of the Blackhawks alumni and media members to determine the inductees. And players with retired numbers are automatically inducted, while the others are selected through the combined voting process. So the players with the retired jerseys that are automatically inducted into the Blackhawks Hall of Fame are Glenn Hall, Pierre Pilot, Keith Magnuson, Chris Chelios, Bobby Hull, Dennis Savard, Stan Mikita, Tony Esposito, and Marian Hossa. And the Hall of Fame will be at Fifth Third Arena, which is where the Blackhawks practice at, and it's near the United Center. It's not a long walk from Fifth Third Arena to United Center. It's only I'd probably say like a 5-6 minute walk or so. It's not that far from the United Center. I've seen Fifth Third Arena before. I've been to Fifth Third Arena before. It's not that far away from the United Center. It's just like literally across the street almost. So yeah, that's where the Hall of Fame will be at. And like I said, this is open from now until mid-July. And besides the Hall of Fame, the Centennial season will also feature special game day experiences, digital contests, and events celebrating the Blackhawks franchise and what's to hope for the future. Overall thoughts, as a Blackhawks fan, I am very ecstatic about this idea, and I can't wait for our Centennial season. Hopefully they can spice up the jerseys a little bit better, make the jerseys somehow special for the fans for the Centennial season. But all in all, I can't wait for the season, and I'm really excited about our roster. We have a young roster, and I'm excited to see what's going to be in the cards for next season, how this season will play out. I think it's going to be somewhat interesting with a lot of young guys on the roster, because at the start of the season, we had a bunch of veterans on the roster. So Seth Jones, Taylor Hall, Peter Mrazek, and a bunch of other guys on the roster that we didn't really need. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this Centennial season, and I think this Hall of Fame will play out very well. I think it's going to be a great experience for Blackhawks fans and the Blackhawks themselves. And yeah, I hope to see more people get inducted into the Blackhawks Hall of Fame. I think that we will see more people from this list get inducted into the Blackhawks Hall of Fame as the years go by and throughout this Centennial season, which will be the 2025-26 season. Best original six team ever, and we had the best fans in the league. So, lots to be excited for if you're a Blackhawks fan heading into next season. I just hope that they can nail the coaching search right. The coaching search is the only thing I'm worried about. The roster is great. I'm very confident that we will do better. Maybe not get into a playoff spot, but I'm confident that this team will do better than they did this season. So that's all I have to say about that. But I'm really excited for, this Blackhawks Hall of Fame thing. All right, Stanley Cup playoff games on the slate today. There's only one Stanley Cup playoff game on the slate, and that is Game 6 of the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. The Panthers lead this best-of-7 series 3-2, one win away from going back to the Eastern Conference Final for the third straight year. Here are some notes to look forward to heading into Game 6. Can Austin Matthews break his scoring slump and lead the Maple Leafs offense in a must-win game? Austin Matthews has not scored a goal throughout the series and only has 3 goals and 2-3 goals in this playoffs, and all of them being in the first round against the Ottawa Senators. Will the star players for the Maple Leafs step up? We need to see more from Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares, and Matthew Knies. Can they step up in this game to force a Game 7 back in Toronto? Joseph Woll, could he deliver an outstanding performance to keep the Leafs in this series and force a Game 7? There's a lot I have to say about the Leafs than I do about the Panthers, because obviously I'm going with the Panthers to win this game and close it out. I did predict Panthers in 6 before the series started, and it's going to be Panthers 6. I don't see the Leafs going back to this game, but I just want to say those notes for you guys. Make sure you guys get the notes, and just the notes that you guys should look forward to heading into Game 6. But for the Panthers side, like I said, I don't have to say too much about the Panthers that I do with the Leafs. But Sergei Bobrovsky has been solid over his past 2 starts in Games 4 and Game 5, allowing just 1 goal throughout those 2 starts. And Joseph Woll, again, he has struggled throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, recording a 2-3 record and a 4.02 goals against average and a .877 save percentage. And the Panthers' defense has been a success in this series, especially in the past 2-3 games that we just watched. Of course, last game, Panthers had 3 goals scored by a defenseman, and they blew out the Maple Leafs 6-1 in Game 5. And this is the chance to clinch, to go to the Eastern Conference Finals on home ice. Could they do the same thing that the Edmonton Oilers did to the LA Kings in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs? We'll just have to see, but obviously an intriguing Game 6 on tap for today. Could the Leafs force a Game 7, or will it be the Panthers going off to the Eastern Conference Finals? And my pick will be the Panthers going off to the Eastern Conference Finals. I did pick the Panthers to win in 6 in this series, and also just because I really don't see the Leafs coming back in this series or forcing the Game 7. I think the Panthers are going to take this one in 6. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And again, you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to give this podcast a follow so you can stay up to date on the latest hockey news and latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Both of you guys have a great day. Hopefully you have a great weekend. God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys Monday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Take care.